Good evening. Sorry about that. Crystal Lake 78 embarks through the witching hour with you. Settle in for a tale from the Book of Shadows. Shall we? The House on Vapore Lane. I occupy a house on Vapor Lane. It is nice and well maintained. I live at 221, and at 223 is Mr. Jung. Mr. Jung is kind and wise, and so is our neighbor Mr. Clyde at 225. Sometimes we talk, but they never mention the vacant house at 227. I'm fairly new over at 221, and on occasion I ask Mr. Jung about the property at 227 and what happened to that guy named Kevin. Jung takes a deep breath and lets out a sigh and unconvincingly says, I think he died. And when I questioned more and I persisted, Jung became rude and he resisted, yelled at me, became rude and quite snide, and told me I'd better go bother Mr. Clyde. My attempt at curious made Jung furious. It seemed there was something to hide, some neighborhood gossip, I surmised. I was quite sure that Mr. Jung told Mr. Clyde at 225 about the guy at 227 who was asking about everything under the sun and below the heavens. I should mention here at 227 that Clyde and Jung are thick as thieves. Both had wives and both are deceased. What could I possibly find out from Mr. Clyde at 225? So I sweat and asked old Clyde, who screamed at me it was suicide. Once again, in anger too great to hide, not from Jung, but from Mr. Clyde, who was no longer Dr. Jekyll, but now Mr. Hyde. Yelling about some suicide, I calmly whispered, Clyde, take a rest, you're nearly down to your last breath. But before Clyde goes and takes that breath, enter my mind's eye for just 1 sec. As I relieve all suspension with something from my mind's retention. You see, I am the soul from 227. I am deceased and my name is Kevin. Jung and Clyde murdered me when I turned 27. They had their reasons, which is why I'm not in heaven. Both of their wives would come to 227s and scream out in the night, oh fuck me Kevin, right before I turned 27, but afterwards they realized and killed me and killed their wives. You see, there's no one living at 221, just Kevin and Kate and Allison. Should we get bored, we just haunt about. We ghost in and out of our next-door neighbor's house. We whisper about remaining DNA. We torture them all night and torment them all day. We yank at their sheets when they try to sleep. The girls giggle out loud that the hole wasn't deep. We screw in their kitchens when they try to eat. We fuck them up and we make them weep. For Jung wasn't as decent as he made out to be. Not decent at all at 223. He was a lousy lover and an even worse drunk. Clyde and Drunk, those two drunk, dirty skunks. They'd go out together, get high and get crazy, then come home at night and they'd beat their old ladies. Brag about it the very next day and laugh about choking Allison out, and what a way, which many a friend would tell police about, but no one would listen because of Clyde's clout. Clyde's clout and position with the local police. Nothing was found, no murder, no weapon, just a suicide at 227. A boy named Kevin, who worked part-time at 7-Eleven, who thought Kate and Allison were angels from heaven, right around the time he turned 27. Return from my mind's eye, if you please. You're right back now to Mr. Clyde and me. Mr. Clyde, when we just left, was about to take that final breath. You see, the only reason that I let Clyde breathe is I don't want him in the afterlife with me. I like him just fine at 225 as I keeps tabs on him with my dead eyes. Yes, me, Kevin, and the girls, we have quite a time, putting a shiver in the old boys' spines. They've tried to kill themselves a good many times, but they're both just cowards from mine down the spine. So we dance death's dance while embracing their pain. It's a purgatory party down on old Vapor Lane, from Clyde's police cruiser to Jung's window pane. Anywhere they go, it's always the same. It's always the same, a street called Vapor Lane. From Clay Jung's Jeep to Jung's dirty bath drain, we fuck them up and we bring the pain. We dance death's dance and we embrace their pain. It's a dish best served cold down on old Vapor Lane. All of their sadness, sorrow, and grief, we fuck them up and we make them weep. On pins and needles with loved ones estranged, we have each other down on old Vapor Lane. After hearing this, you won't be the same. What did you do down at your town's Vapor Lane?